to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Piawi, and Sugary peoples. My name is Ann Chalice, and I will be the worship assistant this morning for our guest, Reverend Dr. Tim Auman. Welcome, Tim. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and members, we're very glad you're here in person or with us online. We hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. And our announcements for this Sunday. Reverend Amy is away on study leave until June 3rd. If you have a pastoral care concern during this time, please email jewsandconcerns@puuc.org. For other items that need immediate attention, please mail eot@puuc.org. That's the board. Our social action team is hosting a drive for Hearts with the Invisible next Sunday to assist with housing-focused street outreach. Please check your order of service for more information about items to donate. Our yard sale will be the first Saturday of June, and we need your assistance. Please look for more details in your order of service or email fundraising@puuc.org. And also, there will be a bake sale as part of the yard sale, and Sue wants to remind you it's important that we have members bring items for that bake sale on the morning of June the 5th or 6th. Our guest preacher today is Reverend Dr. Tim Auman. A North Carolina native, he studied religion as an undergraduate in the 1980s, later earning a Master of Divinity and a doctorate in philosophy. Studies that led him into a lifelong vocation in higher education and mindfulness teaching. A long-time meditator and certified meditation instructor, Jim teaches with the Melinda McSann Society for Contemplative Photography, where seeing becomes a practice of awareness. He has created several well-received online workshops on visual design and perception, and regularly facilitates in-person retreats and classes exploring the relationship between art, mindfulness, and social responsibility. Tim's photography reflects a deeply personal approach, one rooted in emotional resonance and a love of solitude. An ordained layperson in the Plum Village tradition of engaged Buddhism, Tim integrates mindfulness into every aspect of his creative and teaching life. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you are on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you be richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Our chalice flame reminds us this sacred space is a place of rest. As we light our chalice, let our bodies, hearts, and minds find rest in this moment. So please join me in singing the words to lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. invite you now to rise in body or spirit for our call to worship. Please join with me. We gather in community to rest from our labors, to greet our neighbors, and to open our mind, insight, and intuition of that greater reality which we are our heart. May we find in our time together inspiration and renewal. May we touch the holy in each other and be touched by the graciousness of life. May we find here a calm peacefulness that will carry us through the days ahead. Amen. Please remain standing for our opening hymn, number 100. I've got peace like a river.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's time for our Story for All Ages. All those young at heart, please join us up front here. And we have a quote to share today. Whoop, did I know? Did you? My story I'd like to share with you today is called Finkelhopper Frog. It is written by Irene Livingston and illustrated by Brian Leon. And Finkelhopper becomes curious about starting something new. So let's see what happens. Finkelhopper, Finkelhopper, Finkelhopper Frog saw that all the other folks were going out to jog. Finkelhopper whispered, "I would buy a jogging suit. I'll get a really jazzy one, a dandy one, a beaut." So Finkel got his hat and coat, and he closed his little door, and he hopped to Mrs. Chimpanzee's. She owned a clothing store. Yes. Yeah, it's harder to read it upside down. Well, he checked out all the jogging suits. A lot of them were cute. And he told her he was looking for a really special suit. She reached beneath the counter and came up with something wild, a suit with pink and purple dots, and Finkelhopper smiled. He touched it, and he smoothed it, and he held it to his chin. The suit was really rocking. Let my jogging days begin. So home he hurried happy to put the suit on right away. And off he went to show the crowd he'd jog with them till today. So he hippied, and he hoppied, and he sang a sweet kerjog, until he started wondering, is this the way to jog? Now, coming down the road The other way was Itchy, Flea the dog. And Itchy nearly choked himself from laughing at the frog. Finkelhopper, Finkelhopper, Finkelhopper frog, that's a stupid jogging suit, and said Itchy Flea the dog. And man, you're only hopping. That's not the way to jog. Wasn't being very nice, was he? No. Finkelhopper sputtered, and he muttered in the fog, I've got my jazzy jogging suit, and now I want to jog. Then Meowering, the alley cat, with half a bit in the ear and a little bit of patchy fur came, trotting from the rear. Finkelhopper, Finkelhopper, Finkelhopper frog, your jogging suit is goofy, and you don't know how to jog. She gave a silly giggle, and she flipped her fuzzy tail, and off she went to hollering, did you buy that at a sale? Now, Finkelhopper's heart was heavy, right? But he hoped it didn't show. He bopped along, determined not to let them know. But then a rabbit came along, a ribbon on her head, a boing, a boing, a boing, a boing, and this is what she said. My name is Ruby Rabbit. Hey, you're looking pretty cute, a hopping and a bopping in your hippie hopping suit. You're calling this a hopping suit? Said Finkelhopper Frog. And Ruby said, of course it is. We hop, we never jog. So Finkelhopper, keep on doing what you always do, because hopping is the way to go, the perfect way for you. Then Finkelhopper winked a froggy eye. Oh, Ruby, now I see that everyone has special things to do and say and be. We all can hop or jog or fly or crawl or leap or run and get to anywhere we want. There's room for everyone. Well, that's our story for today. I hope when you're curious about trying something new that you'll do it your way. And look at the giraffe, isn't he cute? All right, it's time for your classes. Thank you for listening.
This is our time for ritual and sacred sharing. A time for sharing our joys and sorrows, our concerns, and our milestones. First this week, we light a candle for Eric H., whose father is in hospice. For the lives lost at the shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego, and that people will stand up against Islamophobia in all of its forms. For peace to prevail in the Middle East, and our leaders to be guided by visions of peace instead of visions of war. For all impacted by ICE raids and activities around the country. For all areas of violence around the world, especially the ongoing war in Ukraine. And for our country, that we might live into being a society guided by justice and compassion for every person. And so at this time, you are welcome to come up and fill out a prayer card, drop a stone into our shared water, or light your own candle of joy or concern. The worship assistant will hand the candle to you if you wish to light a candle. I invite you as you come forward to walk along the outer aisle next to the wall. We'll also be lighting a few more candles for those things that we hold in our hearts that remain unspoken, and for those joining us from elsewhere to honor what is in their hearts as well. I invite you now into a time of quiet rest, meditation, and prayer as we follow the sound of the singing bowl into the silence. After a moment of silence, we will have a musical meditation.
Our wisdom reading this morning, the first one, is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 25 to 28. At that time, Jesus of Nazareth said, I thank you, God of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, and have revealed them to little ones. Yes, for this was your gracious will. All things have been entrusted to me, and no one truly knows me except God, and no one truly knows God except me, and to those to whom I choose to reveal God. Come to me, all you who are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. And the second reading from the Tao Te Ching, chapter 56. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is my second time to be with you. It's a good sign. It means that someone thought it would be all right. Someone probably be needing for me to come back and to share with you again. I'm honored to be here. Also honored just to step in and support Amy, a lifelong friend and colleague. And so it's a real joy for me to be here. I'm also really glad that Piedmont UU churches in the world. Yeah, let me just leave it at that. I'm glad you're here. It leaves me with a sense of hope for the future. Well, I have to admit that over the past few weeks, I found myself returning to the same question over and over again. I think I started asking the question when I heard recently a researcher suggest that in 2027, as many as 15,000 Catholic parishes and Protestant churches would have to close their door. It seems like a lot. Not surprising. We all know something about institutional contraction. But it did leave me asking this question. Why do people like us, people who go to a synagogue or a temple or to a congregation like Piedmont, why do we keep returning when more and more people are not? Now, I ask that question not in a cynical kind of way, but really out of a sense of curiosity. Because there are plenty of other places we could be this morning. Plenty of other ways in which we could spend our time. Now, for some of you, this rhythm of getting up on Sunday morning and coming to be in a community was woven into your life from the very beginning. Now, that was true for me. My family went to church. My dad was a preacher's kid, so we went to church. Even on vacation, we would go to church, which of course me and my siblings desperately hated. And wherever we were, whatever church we were in, we always sat on the right side, the pulpit, where the preacher would deliver the sermon, 4 rows back. Okay? That's actually where my dad's parents, my grandparents, continued to sit as well. Right side, 4 rows back. So for many of us, whether you started in a synagogue or a temple or a congregation like this or a church, this wasn't a choice that you made. It was simply what your family did, week after week, year after year, even on vacation. And it shaped you in ways both seen and unseen. And maybe if you're entirely honest, that's still why you get up on Sunday morning and get in the car and come here. It's familiar. It's what you do. It's what you've always done. Now, others of you come because this is where your people reside. Your friends are here. Your community is here. These are the people that represent your values and your commitments to peace and social justice and equity. There's a sense of belonging here that draws you back week after week after week, even on those mornings when getting out of bed feels like a small act of faith on its own. And then there's some of you here, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, who are not entirely sure why you keep coming back. Now, maybe it has something to do with searching. Maybe life has grown heavy in ways that you never expected. Maybe you carry something around with you that you have not been able to name. And somehow you found yourself here among these good people. Because beneath all of these reasons, whether it's habit or community or even uncertainty, there is something deeper that's moving among us. Now, I believe, I'm going to put my philosopher hat on, I believe that most people on this planet, consciously or unconsciously, are living with the same set of existential questions. Now, these are the really fun questions that we love to find answers to. The first one is, who am I? Really, beyond all the identifiers and labels and certificates and degrees. Second question, where did I come from? Where am I going? How am I to live my life with whatever time I have left? And perhaps my most favorite question of all is why? Why any of this? Why life? I suspect this is the deeper current beneath everything else that we do in this space. The reason that we gather, the reason that we search, the reason we keep showing up even when we're not entirely sure what we're showing up for or looking for. And even as traditional religious structures change and evolve and dissolve, that deeper longing has never really gone away. If anything, in the world that we live in, it's even more exposed, more tender, more urgent. No less than our spiritual ancestors, we are still trying to learn the ancient art of how to live well. And if we're entirely honest, how to die well. We come here because we want to connect with people in real ways, with authenticity and integrity. And when we get out of our cars in the parking lot and make our way in here, we're also bringing our faults, our shortcomings, our regret, perhaps even our shame, hoping that we can be redeemed and forgiven. We walk into this space looking for healing for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, for our country, and for our world. We come here to try to make sense of the passage of time. I don't know about you, I'm 68 years old, and I swear to you I was 35 about 6 weeks ago. And somewhere along the way, we come here because we long, I believe, to live into that ancient, primordial wisdom that is unique to each of us, that's looking for alignment and resonance and expression. And even for just a moment, we come here in order to be consoled, to be reminded that we cannot do this good work that you're committed to alone. And perhaps it is in this very place, this deep, often unspoken longing, that voices across the many traditions begin to speak. Now, some of those voices speak in the language of faith. Some of those voices speak in the language of philosophy. Some of those voices speak in the language of poetry. and dance and art and storytelling. In the Christian tradition, Jesus speaks to what he calls the little ones. Now, he may have been speaking about actual children, but I suspect he was also speaking to those who remain open, those who remain humble, those who are aware of their need, those who have not closed themselves off with certainty, those who, in a quiet and honest way, are still willing not to know, not to have it all figured out. Now, in the Taoist tradition, we hear a similar echo from Lao Tzu. He suggests a kind of unlearning, a return to a more natural, uncontrived way of being in the world, not ignorance, but openness and spaciousness, open to the possibility that we may not be correct in our perceptions, not mastery, but receptivity. And then comes this enduring, ancient invitation, one that has echoed across centuries. And many of us are very familiar with Jesus' words here. Come all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and you will find rest. That invitation does not come as a demand. It doesn't come as a condition, but it comes to us as an offering. So perhaps there's another reason that we get in our cars on Sunday mornings and drive across town to this place. Especially after this past week. We are weary. We are bone tired physically and emotionally, because many of us are carrying very heavy burdens. And some of those burdens are visible, and some of them are not. And the truth is that many of our so-called burdens or challenges are far more than that. They require something close to superhuman strength and fortitude. And we deserve, I believe, at the very least, to feel how hard it is to be human. Now, perhaps it took you years to extract yourself from being in a toxic relationship, or to walk through the long, disorienting season of a divorce, with its endless arguments, the second guessing, and the slow, exhausting work of sorting out what was true and what was not true. And how much you had to learn just to stand up for yourself, something that may not have come naturally to you. Perhaps you found yourself in a work environment that slowly wore you down, where expectations were unclear, where your worth as a human being was questioned, where you began to lose a sense of who you were, and how hard it was finally to say, I can't work here anymore. This is not healthy for me. And how much courage it required of you to begin again, to step into the unknown, and how hard it must have been to finally say, there must be something else. There has to be something else life-giving in the world that I'm qualified for. How much courage it must have required for you to move through your own shyness and uncertainty, to risk connection, to let yourself be seen, to claim your own voice, to make new friends when it would have been much easier simply to stay hidden. How much courage was required of you to face your illness or the illness of someone else, to hear your primary care physician utter the word cancer in your presence, to endure treatment, the long stretches of waiting and the uncertainty that never quite leaves. Perhaps for some of you, it was the loss of a partner, a spouse, a child, a best friend. Perhaps it is our collective concern and grief about the current social and political climate that we find ourselves in the United States, especially around the issues that are most important to us, like polarization, inequality, systemic racism, threats to our democracy, immigration rights, LGBTQ plus rights, economic insecurity, the complete disregard for the rule of law in our country. These are not small things. They are not minor burdens that many of us carry. These are the kinds of ways that actually shape an entire person's life in a community. And there are those among us who will never be able to congratulate themselves enough for what they have been through. For some of you, just being here this morning is an unheralded, momentous feat. Now, when we hear this invitation to come, we need to hear it as an invitation that's not confined to simply one tradition. We need to hear it more broadly as the voice of compassion itself, as the quiet wisdom of the human spirit, as the deep, sustaining presence that meets us right in the middle of our complicated and messy lives. And perhaps this is where those deeper questions, the really fun questions, who am I really? Where did I come from? Where am I going? How am I to live my life in the time I have left? And why any of this? Why those questions begin to soften around the edges. Not because we have answers to those questions, because we are learning the ancient art of holding them differently. And even that pesky, persistent why question loosens its grip, not through explanation, but through a deeper and more profound sense of presence. Because if we're entirely honest with ourselves, there are limits to what we can know in this life. And yet so much of our suffering comes from insisting that we must know, that we must have answers. But what if the invitation is different? What if the invitation is not to solve the mysteries of life here, but to become more at ease with those mysteries? To learn how to hold, not knowing, not having it figured out, with a little more spaciousness and with a little more trust. Because I believe that there is a kind of peace that does not come from having all the answers to life's questions, but from discovering that we can live the questions without being undone by them. That we can carry the mystery of life without it crushing us. And perhaps this is the rest that you offer to each other every Sunday. So I want to draw your attention to something that's on your bulletin. So if you have a bulletin, and if you need to share one with the person next to you, please do so. I want you to take just a moment to look at this painting. It's a painting by Kuno Amiot, and I believe it is hanging in a museum in Paris, but it's entitled Snowy Landscape. And I love this painting because it's enormous. It's 13 by 13 feet. And yet, the lone figure right there in the middle is so impossibly small. Just a solitary person moving slowly, moving deliberately through an overwhelming landscape of white snow. You can almost feel the cold. You can almost feel the shiver. You can almost feel the in-betweenness, the effort required to move through. And perhaps that's what this image offers to us. A visual reminder of why you keep showing up here, week after week after week. Because each of us, every one of us, knows what it means to be weary, to carry more than we can easily explain to the person who's sitting next to us. We are here, yes, to seek understanding. Yes, we are here to receive our marching orders, to go into the world and to serve and to love and to care and to demand truth. But mostly we come because we continue to hear the invitation to rest here, to lay some things down, to remember that we do not have to carry it all by ourselves. And so we come each week after week after week, step by step, across a vast landscape of not knowing, limping our way out of our cars through the parking lot and into this room. Not because the journey is easy, but because something in us knows that we cannot make it alone. We come each week carrying what we carry, hoping perhaps to set it down just for a few moments, even if no one else is paying attention. We come here not because we have all of the answers, because we are learning slowly and gently how to live the questions with honesty and integrity and gentleness. So what I would like to do is I'd like to invite you to enter into a time of meditation, of stillness, of quiet. Find a nice, stable posture. Invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable in doing so, or perhaps leave them partially open with a soft gaze. And take a slow breath in, and then let it fall away. And again, breathing in and breathing out. And notice that you are here, in this place, among friends, not somewhere else, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but here and now. And if you are carrying something heavy today, you might just for a moment imagine setting it down. Not forever, not all at once, but just for now. You can let your shoulders soften. You can let your jaw unclench. You can let your breath move in its own natural rhythm. And notice, perhaps just faintly, that you are supported in this place and by these people. That you are supported by the earth that you stand on, by the quiet presence of family and friends. In this moment, there's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to prove, nothing you need to become, just this breath. Just this moment. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room, carrying with you whatever sense of ease or spaciousness you were able to touch, even if just briefly. May we all move through the upcoming week with a little more gentleness toward ourselves and toward one another. May it be so.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This month we are sharing our offering plate with Green Faith. Because the earth and all people are sacred and at risk, Green Faith is building a worldwide, multi-faith climate and environmental movement. Together, Green Faith members create communities to transform ourselves, our spiritual institutions, and society to protect the planet and create a compassionate, loving, and just world. Our host will pass around the baskets, and we ask that you pass the baskets down the row when you receive them. You may place your gift in the baskets as they make their way around the room, and you are always welcome to give online at puc.org or by texting PUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we thank you for the gifts contained within these baskets and for all the gifts you offer this beloved community. So I invite you now to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn. Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who have helped make our worship service possible. We also ask before you leave today to make sure you place your hymnals back on the cart near the piano. Now, let us pause for just a moment to offer our own thanks. For whatever manifests for you at this moment, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for?
The rain.
Absolutely.
Please repeat from those folks at home.
Do what?
Please repeat from people at home.
Yes, we are thankful for the rain, and hopefully wherever you are in the virtual spaces is raining at this moment. Yeah. Other things that you're grateful for?
For Darlene's beautiful music. Thank
Darlene's
you.
beautiful music, absolutely. Thank you. Other things?
Kathy's healing.
For Kathy's healing?
Yeah.
Right?
For your presence with us this morning.
Thank you. I'm not sure how to repeat that, but yes. Thank you.
For Robin returning.
For Robin returning?
For our visitors.
For all of our visitors?
Yeah.
Yay.
Say that again? For Carl's healing? Thank you.
Waking up on the right side of the grass.
Yes, waking up on the right side of the grass. For Amy, having a chance to rest and be with her family. Are there other things for our country? And for this lovely, lovely community, I am most grateful. And so, before you leave, I would invite you, if you would, with eyes of compassion, to look around the room for just a moment. And just make some awkward eye contact with people. We wish for one another peace. Not the easy peace, sometimes the hard peace. We wish for each other joy in small things, in medium-sized things, in big things, in surprising ways. We wish for each other wellness in our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. We wish for each other, for our families, for our communities, for this community, for the world, safety in our coming and in our going. And most especially, we wish for each other that we would awaken to the best version of ourselves, our authentic selves, until that moment comes when we gather again. Now we extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we wander. May it be so. And so for our closing hymn, you all know how to do this. We gather in a circle. You can hold hands if you would like. If you'd like to put your hand on your heart or cross yourself like this, that is fine as well.